Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Craig May in the Princeton High School Gymnasium, where we are filled to the brink with people, and we're filled with anticipation of the upcoming event, the championship game of the Princeton Holiday Championship Classic. The Princeton Tigers taking on the visiting Northfork Blue Demons under head coach Jennings Boyd, state champion AA of last year against the defending champion of 1979, the Princeton Tigers. And we're looking for quite a contest this evening. Of course, a little bit earlier, Wheeling Clark winning the consolation game over a fine Woodbridge team from out of the northern part of Virginia. And a fine contest there. We're looking for another one here in just a few moments. Right now, we remind you that we've got Glenn May alongside, Charlie Wright, Jack Clair, and Bob Graham, who will be talking to a special pregame guest in just a little bit. We'll be back with tonight's pregame show right after this.
We're back at Princeton High School Gymnasium tonight, and with me at pregame, I have a fellow that's been to an awful lot of Princeton ball games and played for Princeton, and right now is practicing as a DDS at the Mercer County Health Clinic, Dr. Tom St. Clair. And Tom, first, I know some of us last night were comparing the size of the crowds at this high school. And how would you rate this high school crowd? Sort of give the people out there a perspective on this crowd.
This is a capacity crowd. I think that I've only seen this crowd size on several other occasions, and that's when Rod Thorne was playing. Of course, this is for a tournament, so people get to see two games. Back then, they only got to see one. Rod was a tremendous drawing crowd.
The only time that I've personally ever seen a gym this full is when Princeton played South Charleston, and they had Ronnie Barr, and I think you were a sophomore maybe.
Yes.
And it went into double overtime. But other than that, this is about the fullest that I've ever seen. Now, I never saw the Rod Thorne days. Tom, one of the things that I know in the last couple of weeks, we've interviewed several college scouts and recruiters, and since you were yourself a heavily recruited player at Princeton, I think before you went to Catawba, what are some of the things that a potential recruit should be looking for that the recruiters may not be stressing?
Well, I was privileged to hear a recent interview with one of the recruiters. He only seemed to stress the basketball part of college athletics. I think this is a tremendous mistake for a young man to have this approach inflicted upon him. I think the number one thing that people should be interested in is the academics. And if the school has an excellent academic program and an excellent athletic program, I think they're in good shape to recruit top college prospects.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. That career that young man will come out of college with is something that he's going to have to live with, and it's something that he's going to make his probably his livelihood on for the rest of his life. So you have to balance the athletics and the scholastic academic standing of the university or the school that you select. Well, so far we've seen 4 teams in this tournament. How would you rate this tournament, the teams in this tournament?
I think it's very well balanced. Woodbridge got beat by 12 last night by Princeton. Wheeling Park beat him by 10 tonight. They look like the weakest team in the tournament. I think it's going to be a tremendous game between Princeton and Northfork. Very evenly matched.
Well, I think it is going to be a very close game, and we will take 30 seconds and be back with you for the tip-off of Princeton High School. Thank you very much, Dr. Sprinkle.
And we're here at the gym. I'm Glenn May, and with Bob Graham's around, and we got Charlie right on board. Welcome aboard, Charlie.
Good to be here, Glenn. Got another fantastic crowd. Look for a good ball game tonight. They're probably pretty well evenly matched ball teams in Princeton and North.
I think it's going to be noisy tonight. I believe it is too. And we got Jack Clair on the far side. Welcome, Jack.
Thank you, Glenn.
And of course, tonight we should see a pretty good running ball club.
Well, I'm from McDowell County. I know type ball played down there. Of course, I live in Princeton now, and
we consider most of McDowell County as escapees.
Well, yeah, I escaped.
Okay, thank you, Jack. And we've got basketball on tap now as the Tigers being introduced right now. They've introduced James DeWitt out there. And the Tigers about ready to go. And Stephon Murray going out. And for the Northfork, anybody get the starters for them?
The starters are Quentin Crenshaw.
I can't hear you, Bob. Are you on?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Starters are Jesse Fields, Quentin Crenshaw, Mark Glenn, Kenny White, and Pete. What's Pete's first name? I don't have the George Pete. The top subs coming in off the bench will be Harmon and Foster. Also, Jennings Ford's son will be one of their top substitutes. And we're through with the introductions and just about ready for the tip-off.
What's our main power cutoff?
6. It's going to be extremely noisy tonight, and we're going to have to do some adjustments to
Yeah, we'll have to work on it.
compensate for that.
All right, the Blue Demons on the floor. The Tigers still around Coach Ralph's ball. As it'll be Quentin Crenshaw playing center for the Blue Demons, and I don't know if he'll be jumping. He'll probably be tipping off against Miller, but maybe they'll put Fields in the tip. We'll wait and see. As the Blue Demons, they got a number 25 out there. I don't have one on my roster. That must be Peoples. That's one of those guys down there, if that's Peoples.
25 people, baby. Who's 25?
As the tip controlled by Northfork, as pulling it down was Crenshaw. Crenshaw puts it in the front court, holds it up now as St. Clair plays the defense on him, gets it to Mark Glenn, and Glenn on the dribble out front calls the signals, moves it to the left side, gets it underneath to Peoples. Peoples gives it back outside the field. They come to Glenn on this side as Glenn holds it overhead, gets it to Crenshaw on the high post, firing good. Quentin Crenshaw puts the Blue Demons out, and they'll press as they lead the Tigers 2-0. It's 7:35 to play in the first quarter. As Eads with the ball in the backcourt for the Tigers, moves it to the front court, gets it to Murray on the wing, back outside to Eads, leaves it for St. Clair. He's on the point. And now they'll start the operation. The St. Clair calls for the signal, starts moving it to the left side. He's directing traffic underneath, and he gets it over to the Witt. And the Witt firing off the iron, no good. Tipped in by, did Miller tip it in? Who got it?
Miller tipped it in.
Miller tipped it up and
And the foul was called on Jesse Fields.
And foul by Fields. That's number 1 on Fields. Team foul number 1 on the Demons.
Glenn, let me say here while we're getting ready for this foul shot, there are people literally sitting around in the road.
There's people sitting up behind us, their feet hanging against them.
Sure, this place is jam-packed. I'm a little bit surprised that it's actually fuller than it was last night.
As Miller on the line now to shoot 1, 2-2, 7:13 to play in the first quarter as Miller puts it up. It's no good. Off the iron. Rebound thrown down by Crenshaw of the Demons. He puts it on the floor, brings it out. He gets it to Glenn. Mark into the front court with it. Gives it back to Crenshaw, top of the key. Trying to get it to Fields underneath. It's not loosened out of bounds, and they call it to the Demons. It'll be Northfork ball as Fields will inbound it for them. Jesse Fields. As he holds it overhead, flips away outside to Mark Glenn. To the right side to Crenshaw. In the corner with it. The Fields on the baseline. Works, fires. Good. As Jesse Fields puts the Demons on top, 4-2. As Eads with the ball in the backcourt for the Tigers now. As Northfork in a half-court press, and the Tigers working it up slowly. As St. Clair gives it back to Eads and Eads into the front court. They double-team him. He gets it to Murray. Murray gets it back to St. Clair out front. He's up at the key with it. Backs it out of trouble. Starts it down the right side. To DeWitt on the wing, right side. Looks at the bucket, gives it back to Jeff. To Eads. He'll fire from the top of the key. It's off the iron, no good. Rebound, slaps around, comes loose. Knocks out of bounds. All for the Tigers. It'll be Blue Demon ball. Northfork inbounds it. And Crenshaw inbounds it to Kenny White. And White dribbling to the front court. James DeWitt picks him up to play the defense on him. And the plug's about that now. And he goes underneath. The shot put up by Glenn, no good. Rebound to Field, knocked loose. We got a whistle and a foul. Called on Jeff St. Clair, I believe. That's number 1 on Jeff. Team foul, number 1 on the Tigers. And that will put the ball to the Blue Demons on the baseline. Fields will inbound it. They line them up on the right side of the lane, parallel. And Fields holds it overhead, gets in the corner, Crenshaw, and we got a whistle. He steps on the line. It'll be Tiger ball in the backcourt.
He actually bounced the ball off the white line.
6:13 to play in the first quarter, 4-2. Northfork leading the Tigers. As Jeff St. Clair takes it toward the right side, gives it to Mike Eads. Eads into the front court with a left-hand dribble. Down the left side, goes to the corner. Gives it back outside to St. Clair. As Jeff takes it across the top of the key, left to right. Gives it to DeWitt on the wing right side.
Back to St. Clair, to Eads, starts it into the lane, gets a pick from Miller, does not shoot. Now he fires. Good. Mike Eads over a Miller screen, puts it in. 4-4. Tie ball game early in the first quarter. As Kenny White brings it to the front court for Northfork. Driving on to Witt. We got a whistle and a foul. And I believe it is on.
Maybe on Mike Eads.
Maybe on DeWitt. It is on James DeWitt. That's number 1 on DeWitt. Team foul number 2 on the Tigers. And it'll be out of bounds for the Demons. As Jesse Fields will inbound it. He gets it in to the Mark Glenn, and Glenn gives it to Kenny White. And White on the dribble with it. Now he holds up the dribble. Gets it to Jesse Fields on the wing, right side. They go underneath with it. 2 people firing. Off the iron, no good. Rebound tipped around, picked up now by Eads. As Mike on the run with it into the front court, looking for help. Nobody with him, so he backs it out of trouble. Wait for him to set up. Starts it underneath. Now he gives it to St. Clair. Jeff starts it toward the left side, looking underneath. Now he comes back over to the bench. Gets a word from Coach Ralph Fall and gives it to Mike Eads. They start down the right side. To DeWitt, firing out of the corner, all the way across. No good. Rebound by Miller in the lane. We got a whistle and a foul. And it's on Kenny White. As Miller, going up to pick up the rebound, was pushed on the takeoff. By the way, the record between Princeton and Northfork since 1960 is 10-4. Northfork leads the Tigers. So the Tigers have the ball out of bounds as DeWitt inbounds it to Miller. Miller firing off the glass. Good. And the Tigers go on top for the first time, 6-4. As Kenny White works it toward the front court for the Blue Demons. Still on the dribble with it. Gets it to the high post to Crenshaw. Gives it to Fields. Firing from the wing. Good. Jesse Fields, so about 18 to 20 feet. Pounds it in. 6-6. As St. Clair working against the Northfork half-court press. Gets it to Mike Eads. He signals for somebody to come to him. Now he gives it to St. Clair. They go to Miller. Miller in the front court to Eads on the left side. With the dribble. Behind the back pass to DeWitt in the corner. James looking cross court, gives it back to Eads, starts it in the lane, has it knocked loose. Picked up by Northfork. As they go down, they pass to Kenny White, puts it up and in. 8-6, the Tigers trail by 2. And St. Clair will bring it to the front court for the Tigers. The pass up to Murray on the wing, right side. He gives it back outside to Jeff St. Clair. Jeff flips it across to Mike Eads. To DeWitt. He'll fire out of the corner. Off the iron again, no good. Tipped by Miller, no good. Tipped again by Miller, no good. Tipped by St. Clair, off the iron, no good. Miller puts it up, no good. And it comes out to the Demons. As Kenny White in the front court with it, goes underneath to Crenshaw, to Peoples. Peoples with the ball, puts it up, no good. Rebound, pulled down by Murray of the Tigers. And Stephon hands it to St. Clair. And Jeff will move it to the front court for Princeton. Jeff on the move with it. To DeWitt, deep in the corner. DeWitt backs his way in. Gives it to Miller. Works his way in. We got an offensive foul on Miller. That's number 1 on Jim. Team foul number 3 on the Tigers. The officials tonight, Pack and Kelly out of the Canoa Valley. As Kenny White now will bring it to the front court for the Blue Demons. As James DeWitt plays the defense on him, the Tigers playing a man-to-man. As White picks up the dribble, gets it across court to Mark Glenn. As they give it back outside. Now Jesse Fields with the ball, goes to the wing, firing from out there, off the iron, no good. Rebound to James DeWitt of the Tigers. They double team him, he gets it to Jeff St. Clair. Jeff with the left-hand dribble into the front court to Eads, down the left side, firing, good. Mike Eads from the baseline. Ties it up at 8-all with 2:53 to play in the first quarter. Kenny White to the front court with it for the Demons. Gives it to Crenshaw, goes across the lane, holds it up. The crowd wants traveling, no call. Kenny White firing, and Stephon rejected. Field 5, Miller blocked it. Eads comes out with it, gets it to DeWitt. DeWitt into the front court for the Tigers. They go to Murray underneath, and we got a whistle and a foul. That's on DeWitt for a charge, is it?
It is. He thinks it was a block, but it was charged.
That was on James DeWitt on the charge. That's number 2 on DeWitt. Team foul number 4 on the Tigers. Kenny White gives the ball to Mark Glenn, and Glenn will bring it to the front court for the Blue Demons. As Glenn double team, gets it back to Kenny White. They go to Crenshaw on the high post, drives, goes down the lane, lays it up, good. 10-8. The Tigers trail by 2 with 2:16 to play in the first quarter. As Eads with the ball for Princeton. Moves it to the front court. They double team him. And now we've got a whistle and a foul. Offensive foul on Mike Eads. And I'm sure the Tigers want a timeout as Ralph Ball wants to question that a little bit. So the 2:09 left to play in the first quarter. We'll pause for this message.
We're back at Princeton High School. 2:09 left in the first quarter. The score 10-8. The foul has just been called on Mike Eads, and Northfork will have the ball out. The Princeton cheerleaders are on the floor right now. And Glenn, back to you.
The Tigers been called for the offensive foul, and this is something that they hadn't reckoned with. That the Demons seem to be willing to stand and take their charge, and the Tigers get charged with it, as they say. And this is something that's hurting the Tigers right now. And whether this is going to be a strategy that's going to really trouble the Tigers, we don't know, but it seems to do so right now. So we're ready for basketball as the Tigers will be on defense on the foul call of Mike Eads. That was number 1 on Mike. Of course, that's team foul number 5 on the Tigers. And the Demons will have the ball out of bounds in the backcourt. Mark Glenn will inbound it for them. As Glenn with the ball right now in the backcourt gets it into Kenny White. As White on the dribble with it. Moves it toward the front court as James DeWitt picks him up. Tigers playing a man-to-man. Gets it over to Mark Glenn. They go to Crenshaw. High post. Firing from 16 feet off the iron. No good. Fields going over top of Murray's back for the rebound. The foul call on Fields. On Fields, that's number 2. Team foul number 3 on the Demons. It'll be Tiger ball out of bounds in the backcourt. As DeWitt inbounds it to St. Clair. And the Demons with a 3/4 court press right now. Gets it over to Mike Eads. Trying to get to the front court to Murray. It's tipped away and out of bounds by the Demons' Skinny White. So it'll be Tiger ball out of bounds, front court. As Mike Eads inbounds it to Jeff St. Clair in the back court, and Jeff moves it to the front court. He calls the signal, moves it down the right side. They got Eads on the wing over there. To DeWitt in the corner. Back to Eads on the wing. He's firing from 20 feet. It's off the iron. No good. Murray fighting for that rebound. He goes to the floor. Big scramble. Comes up to the Demons. As they get it out on the run on the far side to Mark Glenn. He goes in the front court. Fires. No good. Rebound. Slapped around. Pulled down by DeWitt of the Tigers. As James DeWitt brings it to the front court. Left side. Skips his way down. Gets a pick from Eads. Fires over. Good. James DeWitt with a screen from Mike Eads. Ties the score 10-all with 1:17 to play in the first quarter. As Northfork comes back into the front court. Layup no good. Fields and Miller rebounding. Foul called on Fields. And on Jesse, that's number 3. And team foul number 4 on the Demons.
We're going to get a substitute in the ball game, number 31, which will be Harmon. Ricky Harmon for Northfork. I would suspect coming in for Jesse Fields with 3 fouls.
As Fields charged with that 3rd foul, he's going to sit down for a few minutes. 10-10 with 1:12 to play. And this is a very hot and very noisy gymnasium. Boy, they've got them hanging from the rafters. Bigger crowd tonight than there was last night. As the Tigers throw the ball away up court, taken by the Demons in the backcourt. Kenny White brings it to the front court on the dribble now. Toward the left side. Top of the key with it, holds it up, moves it back to the right side to Harmon. Harmon gives it back to White. He's on the point. They go to Crenshaw. High post. Looks at the bucket. Now he dribbles. Goes down the left side of the lane. Puts it up on the glass. No good. Miller rebounds for the Tigers in heavy traffic. Gets it out to Eads as Mike takes it to the front court with a left-hand dribble. Down the right side. As they pull DeWitt to the corner over as Eads with the ball to DeWitt. Firing out of that corner. Off the flange. No good. Rebound. Pulled down by White of the Demons. Gets it out to Mark Glenn. Glenn into the front court. St. Clair hits him all. As he throws it way back out front to George Peoples. The check it to Kenny White. And White gives it to Peoples on the left side. They drop it inside to Crenshaw. Crenshaw gives it back to Peoples in the corner. Firing good. George Peoples from the baseline. 12-10. Tigers trailing. 11 seconds to play in the first quarter. As Eads moves to the front court down the right side for the Tigers. To St. Clair with 4 seconds on the clock. To DeWitt. He'll fire from 25 feet off the iron. No good at the buzzer. So at the end of the first quarter of play, the Princeton Tigers 10. The Northfork Blue Demons 12. And we'll be back for fifth pause for this.
What's the percentage? I thought we'd picked up the 7th member of our team.
The Tigers and the Demons locked in a real battle here as the Demons leading the Tigers 12-10 at the end of the first quarter. And it is temperature in here, what, about 117? that about right?
115 and a half.
115 and a half. And it is noisy. Boy, people shouting all kinds of things around here, but the Tigers trying to get it going, and we've got some foul problems, Bob, already.
Well, the only Princeton player with foul trouble is James DeWitt. Miller picked up the charging foul. Each picked up a charging foul. St. Clair picked up a foul underneath. For the Demons, Jesse Fields has 3 fouls, and Kenny White's the only other Northfork player to pick up even 1 foul in the first quarter.
Okay, the Demons, the Tigers come out. Second quarter, we got Miller, Eads, Murray, DeWitt, and St. Clair. The people, White, Glenn, Harmon, and Crenshaw for the Blue Demons. As the official comes over to Coach Jennings Boyd to find out who's going to be designated as the captain, since Jesse Fields is on the bench right now. So now Miller is in, Harmon is in. We're waiting on the official and the tip controlled by the Tigers. As James DeWitt picks it off, hands it to Jeff St. Clair, and Jeff directs the traffic. To Eads on the wing, right side. Moves it underneath the dribble. Now to DeWitt deep in the corner. Looks underneath. Gives it back to Eads on the wing. They come to Murray on the near wing, and they go to DeWitt on the corner on the near side. As DeWitt comes around with a dribble, puts the shot up off the iron, no good, and it's out of bounds. And they say it's off of the Tigers and give it to the Demons. As the rebound fought for, knocked out of bounds in the Demons' control. As Kenny White brings it to the front court. White drives the lane, puts the shot up and in, good. Kenny White got a screen, got a pick from Crenshaw, went around him for the bucket, 14-10. Tigers trail by 4 now, biggest lead of the game for Northfork. As St. Clair with the ball in the front court for the Tigers. He's on the point position. To the left side to Eads, deep in the corner to DeWitt. To Miller, works the baseline, goes under, puts it up, it's slapped away. As Stephon puts it up and in. Stephon Murray puts it back up for the Tigers, 14-12. Tigers down by 2. As Mark Glenn brings it to the front court for Northfork, as St. Clair plays the defense on him. Mark Glenn gives it to the near side to Harmon. Harmon drives to the baseline, knocked loose by Murray, picked up by Glenn, gives it outside to Crenshaw. Goes to the lane, goes down the lane, puts it up, and we should have traveling call. He got it. Now, that's the 3rd time he's made that play, and he's traveled each time. That's the first time the officials caught him, but we can't say anything about that until the official catches him, can we?
No, well, we can. Now, we have been known to.
14-12, Tigers trail as DeWitt with the ball in the backcourt, gets in the front court to Murray. Stephon had a notion to hit Eads on the break, but then he had too much traffic in between, so Eads on the wing with it. To DeWitt in the corner, drops it to Miller on the low post, on the baseline, firing, got it. As Miller goes to the baseline, backs it away, and puts it on the glass, rolls it across the flange, and in the bucket. 14-14, it's a tie ball game. As Northfork to the offense now. Harmon with the ball, right side wing. And they go all the way around the court to Kenny White. He goes to the baseline. We got traveling. As these Demons, they take off, travel quite often. If the officials are sharp enough, they'll catch it. Hayes inbounds it to DeWitt. DeWitt into the backcourt with it. Gives it to St. Clair. Jeff starts it toward the far corner. Gives it back to DeWitt on the near side. To Eads. As Eads works it down the left side toward the corner. Comes back out across the top of the key with it. Gives it to St. Clair. To DeWitt on the baseline. As DeWitt will fire from 18 feet, it's in and out, no good. Rebound pulled down by the Demons. As they come out, running with it into the front court is People. As they go to Crenshaw underneath, firing, no good. Rebound pulled down underneath by Harmon, puts it up and in. Ricky Harmon gets it for the Demons. 16-14, the Tigers are trailing. As DeWitt with the ball in the front court, drives across the lane, puts the shot up, and got it. James DeWitt across the lane on a drive. 16-16. With 5:26 to play in the first half. As Northfork comes to the attack now. Mark Glenn with the ball. As Mark backs his way in on St. Clair. Goes to the lane. Goes into the lane. Fires. Pulled it short. Rebound pulled out by Miller. And he is really chopped. There's no call on it. He swings it out to Murray. Murray into the front court. Holds it up. Gets it to Eads. Eads on the wing. Right side. Waits for traffic to clear. Gives it to St. Clair. He gives it right back to Eads. He's firing off the iron. No good. Miller rebounding. We got a whistle on a foul underneath. And that's on Murray, I believe. It is on Murray. That's number 1 on Stephon. Team foul number 6 on the Tigers. So with 5:01 to play in the first half, Stephon caught for the foul underneath. And that will put Kenny White on the free throw line for the Blue Demons. Excuse me. Kenny White to fire the 1-and-1. He puts the first one up. It's good. He'll have a second. As we're going to get David Phillips into the ballgame for the Tigers for Stephon. Phillips, a 6'3.5" sophomore. And of course Murray, a 6'4" senior. That's Kenny White on the line right now for the Tigers. Fires off the flange, no good. Rebound pulled down by Crenshaw. Puts it up, no good. Rebound to Miller. And boy, is he in heavy traffic. He gets it over to DeWitt. And DeWitt puts it on the floor and moves it toward the front court. Into the front court. Down the right side with it. Sidles his way down. Leaves it for Eads. As Eads picks it up on the wing. Gives it to DeWitt deep in the corner. James holds the ball overhead. Gives it back to Eads. Eads works his way toward the baseline. Gives it to St. Clair. St. Clair gives it to Phillips. As they go to DeWitt on the near side. DeWitt firing good from 20 feet. 18-17. Tigers lead by 1. As Mark Flynn with the ball for the Demons. Has it taken away by St. Clair. Picked up by DeWitt. As he drives up the lane and we get a charging foul. That's number 3 on DeWitt.
I don't believe that man had established position. As a matter of fact, he was turned sideways to the ball, to the player with the ball.
Yes, we'll get Murray back in for DeWitt now. The season foul trouble. 18-17, Tigers lead as Mark Flynn brings us to the front court for the Demons. To the far side with it to people. They go to Crenshaw. High post firing good. Quentin Crenshaw puts the Demons on top, 19-18. As the Demons will press, Eads with the ball in the backcourt. Gets it to St. Clair. St. Clair goes to Phillips underneath, lays it up and in. As Phillips puts the Tigers back up, 20-19. As Mark Flynn works his way to the front court for the Demons. Comes around the lane. Fakes the shot, doesn't take it. Goes across court to White. Firing good. Check it. That was George Peoples. Peoples hits it for the Demons. It gets them a lead of 21-20. 3:37 to play in the first half. It's St. Clair to Miller in the front court for the Tigers. As he gives it back to Jeff. He comes to the wing left side, directs traffic. Now gives it to Eads. As Eads is on the wing. Now he'll fire from 18 feet. Good. Mike Eads puts the Tigers up at 22-21. And DeWitt steals the inbound pass. Puts it up for the Tigers and the Tigers press. And the Tigers press on and took it away. And now Demons into the front court to DeWitt on the left side. Starts it down to the corner. We got a whistle and a timeout for the Tigers. As the Tigers want a timeout. So with 2:48 left to play in the first half, it is Princeton 24, Northfork 23. We'll be back right after this. As the Tigers leading by 1 with 2:48 left to play in the first half, and boy, with DeWitt in foul trouble, that's a real nasty blow to the Tigers, Bob. As Bob is patently ignoring me on the comment, but DeWitt with 3 fouls, and Charlie, that could hurt us bad.
Yeah, sure could. DeWitt's the main player there, and it could hurt. I've got some interesting shooting percentage here. Northfork has made 10 shots out of 23, and Princeton's made 11 out of 24. That's a very good balance for both teams, I thought. Very good shooting.
The 10 out of 23, that's only about, that's a little less than, 35%?
Yeah, about 35%. Princeton's what, about 40%? Well, no, about the same thing.
Yeah, about 40%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
About 40%. That's pretty good shift, though.
Well, there's a lot of pressure on here, a lot of defense.
Yeah, a lot of defense.
Okay, we're ready. As the Tigers will have the ball out of bounds on side court, front court, and it'll be Mike Eads to inbound it. And boy, we got people sitting all around on the floors, on the corners, and I wouldn't believe it. You see them about count them. As inbounds pass to St. Clair. St. Clair out front now, calling the signal. They're going to spread it out. 4. They're going to run the clock down a little bit. 2:37 to play in the first half. As St. Clair calls the signal, they go to Miller on the high post. He goes to the lane, puts the shot up, no good. Rebound, pulled down by Northfork. Boy, there's a real scramble on there. Where's it? Now they're traveling. Now he called it. And boy, that gets the crowd up. I got to get up so I can see. And now they want a towel to dry the floor. As Phillips playing in the 4, and Kenny Crenshaw with the ball fell over him backwards. And when his feet came off the floor,
Crenshaw would not have fallen over him had he not been throwing his elbows on side to side.
And the Demons want a timeout. So 2:24 left to play in the first half. Princeton 24, Northfork 23. We'll be back right after this.
If he hadn't been throwing his elbows around and moving, he would not have walked.
And should have had a... Didn't get it there. Okay, let's play for a commercial. Pick it up now. Never did get it? Okay. As we got a controversy here on the traveling call, and the coaches want to sort it out a little bit. But the thing is, there was a very slow whistle. We had a tie-up and that ball come over the board.
Yes, we did.
And the official did not put the whistle on it, and so the fellows get to wrestling around with it a little bit. And a traveling call against Northfork, and the crowd's upset. So 2:24 left to play in the first half, 24-23. The Tigers enjoying a 1-point lead right now. But there is foul problems on both teams. Jesse Fields with 3. And, of course, James DeWitt for the Tigers with 3.
Yeah, that's very uncharacteristic of James DeWitt. Through the first 3 games prior to this one, he had the most fouls he picked up in the entire ball game was 2.
Well, were 2 of his fouls offensive fouls?
Yeah, I was getting ready to say 2 of them's offensive.
He had that one defensive foul down here where he was running alongside the fellow.
Yeah, but the fellow actually walked, I thought. You commented later that Crenshaw had walked a number of times.
He does when he gets across that line, doesn't he? All right, the Tiger ball out of bounds as Phillips will inbound it from the baseline. They go to Miller on the low post, goes across the lane, fires off the iron, no good. Phillips hits good. David Phillips puts it up and in for the Tigers, 26-23. With 2:14 to play in the first half. The Tigers lead as Peoples with the ball. Gets it to the front court. On the dribble with it to White. They go to Crenshaw, high post. Miller blocks the shot, taken out of the air by East. As East hands it to St. Clair. And St. Clair will bring it to the front court for the Tigers with 1:59 to play in the first half. As St. Clair standing out the center circle. Dribbling. Looking for help. Gets it from Phillips. As David with the ball, he takes his dribble, gives it back to just St. Clair. They double team St. Clair and he gets it to Eads. As Mike, top of the key with it, gives it back to St. Clair and they give it back to Eads as they play back and forth with it. Waiting on somebody to move underneath to do what they want to do. St. Clair now backs the way toward the lane. Gives it to Eads. Eads on the wing. Starts it toward the lane. They double team him. Knocks it loose. The Weeds picks it up. He drops it to Stephon. We got a whistle. And a 3-second violation call on the Tigers. A minute 28 to play in the first half. 26-23. As the Tigers on the defense. As Mark Glenn brings it to the front court for the Demons. To the left side with it. Gets it underneath to Harmon. Harmon on the wing. Gives it back outside to Glenn. Glenn dribbles a couple of times, and he gets Ricky Harmon with it. As Harmon's on the wing. And Harmon comes all the way across court with it. To Mark Glenn. They go back to Peoples firing good. George Peoples from about 18 feet pounds it in. 26-25 as the Demons press. And Jeff St. Clair with it in the backcourt for the Tigers. Gets it to Eads. Eads moves it to the front court on the right side. And the Demons drop off the press and go back into his own defense. A 1-3-1. We got a whistle on the foul underneath. As Miller trying to move, and Harmon holding him under there. Ricky Harmon called for the foul. And that's number 1 on Harmon. Team foul number 5 on the Demons. And that'll put Miller on the line to shoot a 1-and-1. As Miller standing on the free throw line, he'll shoot a 1-and-1 with 47 seconds up to play in the first half.
Glenn, so far tonight, Jimmy has 6 points. He has missed his only other foul shot attempt of the night.
As Miller ready to fire. He puts it up. Good. He'll have a second attempt. 27-25. The Tigers up by 2. As Miller will have one more attempt. As he fires again. It's off the iron, no good. Phillips rebounds. Puts it up, and it is good. David Phillips puts the Tigers up by 4 with 40 seconds to play in the first half. As into the front court with it is Mark Glenn of the Demons. As Jeff St. Clair picks him up. They move it towards the left side, and they give it right back to Glenn. As Peoples comes out, and they just pass it back and forth. As Glenn now out top of the key with it to Kenny White. White throws it down the right side. Goes to the baseline, fires. It's good. As Miller almost over the rim for a goaltending, we got a whistle underneath, and one of the Demons is injured. He fell after he shot. Now, which one is it injured? Kenny White. That's Kenny White that's injured.
Now, who got the basket? I really couldn't see the numbers.
Kenny White. Kenny White on the drive laid it up.
And it's Kenny White.
And White lying on the baseline. Well, we've got the time, and there's a timeout on the floor. Let's pause 30 seconds for this message.
All the way out to the hallway.
The gymnasium here is so full, I guess, well, I won't even say that. I'm going to make a real comment about that. They got Kenny White up and moving now. He acts like he may be injured in the lower back, but he's moving around. Michael Boyd's going to check into the ball game, and Kenny White's going to come out. 18 seconds to play in the first half. The Tigers leading 29-27. The Tigers will have the ball out of bounds, and the Demons will press. David Phillips will inbound it for the Tigers. As he gets it into Eads, as they double team Eads on the far side, he puts it on the floor and brings the dribble up toward the center court. They get it to Phillips, and Phillips into the front court to Miller, top of the key. To St. Clair with 9 seconds on the clock. To Eads on the wing, right side, starts it into the lane, goes down the lane, fires it, partially blocked. Miller tips it up and in. Oh, no good. They call traveling.
The traveling is on Mike Eads going in.
3 seconds on the clock. The bucket was no good. 29-27. Tigers lead. As the Demons bring it up to George Peoples firing, and it's no good. So at the end of the first half of the play, the Princeton Tigers 29, the Northfork Blue Demons 27. As in the second quarter, the Demons got 15 points. The Tigers got 19 points. And we'll be back with halftime. First call for this. At halftime, the Tigers leading 29-27. Bob, you ready off the stats ready?
First for the Princeton Tigers, Glenn, Mike Eads has 3 field goals for 6 points. Jeff St. Clair did not score in the first half for the ball game. James Wood had 4 field goals for 8 points. Stephon Murray 1 field goal for 2 points. Jimmy Miller had 3 field goals and a very uncharacteristic 1 for 3 at the foul line for 7 points. Those 3 foul shots were the only foul shots that Princeton took in the first half. David Phillips came in to replace Stephon Murray at 1 point, and then James Witt, when James picked up his 3rd foul, had 3 field goals in the second quarter for 6 points, giving Princeton at the half 14 field goals and 1 for 3 at the foul line, 29 points. For the Northfork Blue Demons and Chuck Jennings Boyd, Jesse Fields had 2 field goals for 4 points and 3 fouls, I might add. Quentin Crenshaw 4 field goals for 8 points. Mark Glenn did not score. Kenny White came in, had 3 field goals. He was 1 of 2 at the foul line for 7 points. George Peoples had 3 field goals for 6 points. And Harmon came in, he had 1 field goal for 2 points, giving them a total of 13 field goals. 1 of 2 at the foul line and 27 points for the first half. A very, very close game. And Charlie, are you ready with some team and individual statistics?
Yeah, we got it here. I've got Northfork in the first half. They made 13 out of 27 from the field for 48%. And Princeton made 13 out of 29 for 44%. I've got Northfork with 11 rebounds and Princeton with 15. Okay, in turnovers, Northfork committed 8 turnovers and Princeton committed 8. So pretty evenly, Northfork shooting a little bit better. And I noticed one thing here on my stats on turnovers. Northfork only had 2 turnovers in the first quarter, but they had 6 turnovers in the second quarter. Probably Princeton playing a little bit better defense in the second quarter, and that's probably primarily why Princeton has to lead at halftime, I think. It's a little bit more pressure on in the second quarter.
Playing opportunistic basketball.
Right.
Okay, we'll be back with more. First, let's pause for this. All right, we're back at the gymnasium, 29-27, Tigers leading. Boy, I don't. Now, Bob, you said you've seen crowds in here before. Have you seen more than this?
No, sir, I never have. And I think Tom St. Clair made a very good comment when he said that this is the largest crowd since the Rod Thorne era. And that may be the case because I personally have been coming to ball games since the early 60s, and this is the largest crowd that I've ever seen, bar none.
Well, I don't know how many is here, but there's a bunch. There's a big bunch. And Jack, you got something for us over there? And Jack and Mike here, will you?
Yes, there was a correction there on the first half. Princeton was 14 out of 29 from the field for 48%.
48% what Northfork shoots in?
48%.
48% apiece. Mm-hmm. That's almost even, isn't it?
Pretty close.
you know, I think one of the keys in this ball game is the job that Northfork is doing on the backboard, the position that they're playing, and they're seem to be getting the ball. What was that rebounding again?
Well, we had Princeton with 15 and Northfork was last. But
I think they pulled Princeton out, and they're using their speed. You know, Norfolk always has a lot of speed, and they're using their speed to their advantage tonight.
Northfork's getting them offensive rebounds. It's very key, too. They're getting them misfires there. They're not getting but one shot. All right, we'll be back with more. First, let's ball 30 seconds for this. As we just had a score pass down to us from Jack Sheridan on the board, and the final score, University of Virginia 64, Virginia Tech 51. As the Wahoos put it to the Hokies. And Craig, I know you had a couple of guests coming in now, but I don't believe they can get here in the traffic.
Well, I believe they kind of gave up the chase. They, the hallways are kind of congested, to say the least. And I think they kind of started the journey and had to back. If I had about a quarter mile of a microphone cord, I might go across the floor, but I'm not going to risk that either.
By the way, Carl Pace is here from Lake Forest tonight, Craig.
I saw him over there, and I also saw. No, I started to say I was mistaken. I thought I saw the fellow from Ohio State.
Sure looks like him, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
You know, Craig, while we've got some time, one of the things that people who didn't get to see the ball game tomorrow night, I don't know if we mentioned it or not, but we just gave the score, the Virginia Tech score, and you might mention some of the people who were here last night.
Well, I saw Charlie Moyer last night from Virginia Tech, as was Terry Holland and Craig Littlepage for representing the University of Virginia. We had quite an outfit of college coaches around the Princeton High School gymnasium last night.
And a lot of high-powered basketball talent.
Yeah, you can put it that way also.
Jeff Wells walking right over top of us. He's scouting for Bluefield.
Hey, you know, I've seen several high school coaches from around the area scouting this evening. Coach Willis up, he was up above me here a while ago. And then across the way, I saw Alan Hatcher, of course, the Loaded Williamson team this year, the Wolfpack from up the northern way, and Willie Akers from up in Logan. Both fine basketball powerhouses up in that part of the state.
And, of course, the Tigers play Williamson later on this year, and I think Logan over here looking at Wheeling Park, I think they're on their schedule, aren't they?
A very big rivalry there between Wheeling Park and Logan. And, well, I'm kind of anxious to see the outcome of that one.
Okay, we're going to be back with more. First, let's pause with this message.
Back in the Princeton High School gymnasium, the Northfork Blue Demons returned to the floor. Coach Jennings Boyd down below us here, and looks like they're going over some second half strategy. I'm sure they'll try to get Jesse Fields in there as soon as possible and let him work on those boards again. And, well, you know, even without Jesse Fields, the Blue Demons did a fine job containing the Tigers on the board.
The Blue Demons have a lot of speed, Craig. They're very quick, they shoot real well, and they hustle. And, of course, this is the biggest game on their schedule, more or less. They would rather beat Princeton than anybody.
You can never tell it by listening to the crowd.
I can disagree with you just one little tiny bit. They would rather beat, you did say, on their schedule. So I will accept what you say, but the thing that the people from Northfork are looking at this year is that final game in Charleston on about March 28th, and that 8th, and the national record is the championship. And I believe that everything in Northfork's pointing to that. Second to that on this season, I think Northfork is looking at Princeton.
Northfork will not play with any more intensity in that game than they are right here tonight.
They are playing.
You can only play with so much intensity, and once you get beyond that, you are flat out.
Well, I thought Princeton came out. It may have been just a little nervous, or they didn't get into they were a little off for the game in the first 4 or 5 minutes of the ball game.
I think you hit it on the head there, Bob, when you said they were a little bit nervous, because this is the first time the Tigers have really been challenged all year long. First time they've really been challenged.
Yeah, they trailed the game tonight, didn't they?
Yeah, most of the game.
First time this year. That's right. First time this year. Of course, the people sitting around the court on the corners and the ends could bother the players a little bit. We're about ready for basketball. We got time to pay one more spot of rent. So let's pause 30 seconds for this message. We'll be back. No W on that word, Charlie.
Fellas, I'm either going to go home in an awful good mood or slightly depressed.
No, I disagree with that. You'll either go home in a very good mood or totally depressed. There's Ralph Paul talking with the official out here right now, explaining to him what an offensive foul is and what it takes to draw an offensive foul. And I
These
guess Ralph
officials have a very tough job tonight. But
Go ahead.
I have to think that a couple of the charging fouls, one on James DeWitt where the man was sideways and obviously had not stepped position. I don't question. I realize the job these fellows have got to do, and it is a tremendous job in this jam-packed, noisy house with the speed that both of these teams have, the ability to get that down the court. It makes it very difficult on the officials.
All right, we're ready for the second half. The Tigers are out there. They've got Miller, Murray, Eads, DeWitt, and St. Clair as Northfork comes back with Fields, Crenshaw, Peoples, White, and Mark Glenn. As the officials trying to get some crowds and some stuff taken around on the sidelines on the near side here. And boy, we got people crawling all over us. Miller to jump against Fields. Miller's in. Fields in, waiting on the official. And the official moves in. Tip is in the air. And it's controlled by the Demons. It's picking it up as Peoples. Peoples moves it to the front court down the left side. He'll fire from 20 feet. Off the iron, no good. Murray rebounds for the Tigers. As Stephon clears it out to Eads, to St. Clair. And Jeff will take it to the front court for the Tigers. Moves it to the right side. To DeWitt. On the wing right side. One dribble. Gives it back to St. Clair. He'll fire from 20 feet. Puts it off the glass, no good. Rebound pulled down by the Demons. Coming out with it is Crenshaw. Crenshaw to the front court. We've got an injury. As Kenny White has got a sprained ankle out there, and he's limping. And they're going to remove him from the game. As Kenny, evidently, in that rebounding, twisted the ankle. And we'll get Michael Boyd into the ball game for the Demons. And Michael is the coach of Coach Jennings, is the son of Coach Jennings Boyd. And that's a tough position to be in, isn't it?
It certainly is.
As Boyd inbounds it to Mark Glenn. He gives it back to Michael Boyd. As Boyd now starts to play to the left side. He gives it back to Boyd as Boyd goes across the top of the key. As they change sides, they go to Fields on the wing, right side. Back to Boyd. He brings it back to the near side to Glenn as Mark holds it overhead. To Jesse Fields, firing from 20 feet. Good. Jesse Fields pounds it in. And we got a tie ball game at 29 all. With 7:11 to play in the third quarter. St. Clair inbounds it to Eads. He gives it back to St. Clair. St. Clair moves it to the front court now for the Tigers. To Eads on the wing, right side. In the corner to DeWitt. DeWitt gives it back to Eads. He'll fire from 18 feet. It's good. Mike Eads from 18 feet away. 31 to 29. Tigers up by 2 as Mark Glenn into the front court with it for the Demons. Gives it back outside to Boyd. They go around the field on the wing. Back out to Boyd. Top of the key with it. On the dribble. To Mark Glenn as Glenn works his way in. Into the corner with it to Fields, and they go back outside. They go back to Fields. As Fields with the ball on the left side, DeWitt playing the defense. As they get it underneath the Peoples, and the shot blocked by Miller, but taken out of the air by Crenshaw. Gives it back to Peoples. And they go to Crenshaw. Fired. No good. Rebound pulled down by DeWitt as he put up the brick. And DeWitt feeds it over to St. Clair. St. Clair to Eads on the wing, right side. Mike moves toward the lane. They go to DeWitt, firing out of the corner. It's good. As DeWitt pops it in. 33 to 29. Tigers up. As Michael Boyd to the front court with it for Northfork. To Jesse Fields on the wing. As Fields backs his way toward the corner. Gives it back to Michael Boyd. And Boyd, top of the key with it. On the dribble. Moves it toward the traffic right now. It goes to the top of the key. And they go out to Mark Glenn underneath. Gives it back over to the near side of the Peoples. They go into the lane with it to Fields. Firing no good. As rebounding was George Peoples, and he was fouled as he's going back up, and the foul called on Jeff St. Clair, and that's number 2 on Jeff. Team foul number 1 on the Tigers. And I think it's they'll call it a shooting foul as we get Kenny White back into the ball game for Northfork. And they will put George Peoples on the free throw line for the Blue Demons. As Peoples fires off the flange, no good. He'll have a second attempt. 33-29. Tigers up with 5:43 left to play in the third quarter. As Peoples fires good. 33 to 30. As the Tigers go to the offense. Murray inbounds it to St. Clair. As Jeff will move it to the front court for the Tigers. To the right side to Eads on the wing. Goes toward the lane. Gives it to DeWitt deep in the corner. DeWitt looks at the bucket. Gives it back outside to Eads. He'll fire. It's off the iron. No good. Rebound fought for. Brought down by Fields of the Demons. Kicks it outside to Mark Glenn. Into the front court with it. Drives to the corner. Backs his way back out. And gives it to Kenny White. And he gives it back to Mark Glenn. And he'll set the play. As they go to Peoples and back to Glenn. Now to the near side to Fields. Firing from 20 feet. It's off the iron. No good. Rebound underneath to White. He's in the lane. No call on the 3-second. He gives it back outside. As there's Crenshaw with the ball on the far side. Almost tied up. He gets it back outside to Mark Glenn. Glenn comes up to the near side to Peoples. As Peoples on the dribble with it. Back outside to Glenn. Glenn will fire now from 17 feet. He's got it. 17-foot jump shot right side of the key. Puts it in. 33-32. The Tigers up by 1. As Eads with the ball in the front court on the left side. Works it into the lane. Leaves it for St. Clair. Drops it to Murray on the baseline. We got an offensive foul on Murray. As the offensive foul, Bugaboo strikes the Tigers again. That's number 2 on Stefan. Team foul number 2 on the Tigers. As Mark Glenn will inbound it for the Demons. He gets it in to Peoples, and Peoples gives it right back to Glenn. He goes to the front court with it. Gives it to Kenny White. High post firing. No good off the flange. We got a whistle on a foul, and that should be called on Mark Glenn, and I believe it is. It is.
George Peoples, I believe, Glenn.
23, you're right. It's on George Peoples.
It's his first foul and the team's first foul.
All right. And it'll be out to the Tigers. They lead by 1. And St. Clair will inbound it to Witt. He gives it back to Jeff. And Jeff will take it to the front court for the Tigers. To the left side to Eads on the wing. To the Witt, deep in the corner. They guard him closely. He takes 2 dribbles. Now fires. No good off the iron and in the glass. Rebound brought down by the Blue Demons. Crenshaw. He gets it over the far side to Kenny White. Into the front court with it. 2 people. Out to White. Firing good. Kenny White from 20 feet. 34-33 as the Demons take a lead on the Tigers. And now they press. The Eads with the ball in the backcourt. They get it in the front court to Murray. He gives it back to Eads and Eads. Moves it to the wing. To the Witt, dips in the corner with it. Back to Eads, and they go to St. Clair out the top of the key. Bring it around to the right side to Murray. Goes to the lane, fires good. Stefan from about 14 feet hits it. 35-34, the Tigers are up. As Mark Glenn brings it to the front court for the Demons. To Peoples on the right side. Back to Glenn as they handle it back and forth. As Glenn with the ball out front to Kenny White, top of the key. Gives it back to Glenn on the right side of the key. Comes across the top of the key to Fields on the near side. Back to Glenn, top of the key to White in the key. Fires, no good. Rebound slapped around, and it comes out of traffic as St. Clair controls for the Tigers. St. Clair into the front court with it. Controls the dribble. Puts the shot up, no good. Rebound pulled down by the Demons, and they've got the breakout. As Glenn goes down, puts it up and in. Mark Glenn hits it for the Demons, and they go on top, 36-35. As St. Clair into the front court with it to the Witt. He'll fire from 20 feet. Off the iron, no good. Rebound tipped around and controlled by Kenny White of the Demons. He gets it on the far side to Mark Glenn into the front court with it. Still on the dribble. Goes to the top of the key, holds it up. And gets it outside to Kenny White. They move it to Jesse Fields on the left side. Fields will fire from 20 feet. Good. Jesse Fields puts it for the Demons. 38-35. The Tigers are trailing. As Eads gets it to the front court, it's tipped away by the Demons as they control in the backcourt. As Kenny White with the ball. He gets it over to Crenshaw. Crenshaw into the front court with it to Mark Glenn. Back to Fields in the corner, firing from 20 feet. It's good. As Jesse Fields got the hot hand right now, boy, he's bombing it. And the Tigers want a timeout. So with 2:14 left to play in the third quarter, Northfork 40, Princeton 35. We'll be back right after this. 2:14 to play in the third quarter, 40-35. The Tigers on the short end of the score by 5 points right now. As the Demon cheerleaders whooping it up, now the Tiger cheerleaders move out. But boy, Bob, I counted all the people in here during that timeout.
What did you come up with, Queen?
There's 3,714 and a half.
That sounds close.
Okay. Now I counted the feet divided by 2. That's how I got the half.
Okay.
How much you count, Charlie?
I got the same. Hey, Glenn, in that quarter,
Northfork came out and only made 2 out of the first 8, but in the last 5 they made 3 from the field. So that's interesting. They kick cold, but they fire up sometimes.
As the Tigers come to the offense now, St. Clair with the ball gets it to Eads in the front court against the Northfork press. As Eads takes it down the left side, goes to Miller at the high post, runs over top of field, puts it up and in. They're still going to go to Miller, looks like now, 40-37. Back to St. Clair, back to Eads, and into the front court to Miller. To St. Clair. As Jets directing traffic now. They want to move him to the right side. As Eads on the wing with it. To the Witt, deep in the corner. Gives it back to Eads. To St. Clair, top of the key. They go to Phillips on the far side. We got Phillips in the ball game. To Miller on the high post, firing good. They're going to take it to Miller inside. Let him work. 42-39. The Tigers trail by 3. As the Tigers on defense, Kenny Washington with the ball. Back to Mark Glenn. Firing on top of the key. It's off the iron. Good. It dropped it through. Miller gets it in down to St. Clair. They get it to Eads. Eads into the front court for the Tigers now. Tigers trailing by 5 points. As Eads with the ball, left side wing. Starts it toward the baseline. Gives it back to St. Clair, top of the key. To Phillips on the wing, right side. To Miller on the baseline. They give it to Phillips in the lane. It's Eads in the lane. Firing no good. Eads takes the fires again. It's good. Eads following his own shot. 44-41 with 35 seconds to play in the third quarter, and the Demons will play for 1 shot, looks like. As Mark Glenn brings it to the front court and checks it outside. Tigers in a 1-3-1 zone. As Glenn works to the right side, gives it to Peoples. Peoples gives it right back to Glenn. He penetrates and steps back outside. Penetrates and right back outside again, just wearing the clock down. 12 seconds on the clock. The Fields on the near side. As they go to Crenshaw in the corner, firing. It's off the iron, no good. Phillips rebound. Gets it out to Eads. Eads to the front court with it. 2 seconds. Works on Crenshaw. Fires over Crenshaw. It's short. And we're going to mix up on the basket. They say nothing. So at the end of the third quarter of play, the Northfork Blue Demons 44. The Princeton Tigers 41. And we'll be back right after this. As we're back at the Tiger Gymnasium, and we'll try to get this down to Bill Wilkerson, give him a score. Hand this down to Bill Wilkerson for me, will you please? As the Tigers outscored during that third quarter, but the Demons 17-12, Bob.
Well, the main factor in that was Jesse Fields outside shooting. He had 4 field goals. Mark Glenn had 2 from long range, and Kenny White had 2 from long range. Northfork picked up, for the game so far, there are 21 field goals, 2 of 4 at the foul line. Princeton is 20 field goals, 1 of 3 at the foul line. And Miller had 2 field goals in that third quarter for 11 points. Murray picked up 1 from long range for Stephon, giving him 4 points on the night. DeWitt picked up 1, giving him 10 points on the night. And Eads had 2, giving him 10 points on the night.
Okay, at final is passed on to us by Jack Sheridan. The Wahoos of Virginia 64, the Hokies of Virginia Tech 51. So we're ready to go. The Tigers come out with Miller, Eads, Murray, DeWitt, and St. Clair. And we've got Fields, Peoples, Glenn, Washington, White, and Peoples for the Demons. As Miller to jump against Fields. The tip controlled by the Demons as Crenshaw pulls it down. Crenshaw to the front court with it to the right side. Deep in the corner with it to Mark Glenn. As Glenn brings it out front to start the offense. To Fields on the left side. Jesse starts it down the left side. He'll fire from out there. That's off the iron, no good. Rebound pulled down by Eads of the Tigers. He gets it out to St. Clair and the Tigers into the front court, running to the Witt. Goes under, flips it back out. It's loose. Picked up by the Demons as Kenny White picks it up for Northfork. 44-41, the Tigers trailing as Kenny White will bring it to the front court for Northfork. As they move it to the left side, it's Kenny White with the ball, looking underneath, can't find anything open. Gives it to Peoples. And now to Mark Glenn. As Glenn gives it back to Peoples way out front. Tigers playing man-to-man now. They go to Crenshaw on a high post. Works, drives, puts it up no good. Miller got a piece of it. And DeWitt comes out with it into the front court on the dribble. Comes to the lane. He'll fire. Off the iron, no good. Rebound. Fought for Stephon on the foul, I'm sure. Or wait a minute. Maybe it's on. 1, 2. It's on St. Clair. And on Jeff, that's number 3. Team foul number 3 on the Tigers. As Stephon was over the top of these, so I figured it was his foul, but they said no, Clair got it from underneath. So they inbound it. And the Tigers playing man-to-man. as Mark Lamb brings it to the front court for the Demons. Down the left side, the Tigers bring a 1-3-1 zone. Firing, it's no good. Rebound pulled down by Crenshaw. The Demons puts it back up and in. Quentin Crenshaw gives Northfork a 5-point lead, 46-41 over the Tigers. As Mike Eats to the front court with it for the Tigers. To the left side wing, he'll fire from 18. Off the iron, no good. Rebound pulled down by the Demons. They get it up to Crenshaw. Moves down, stop. A slam dunk for Quentin Crenshaw, the Demons. 48-41, a 7-point lead now for Northfork. As Mike Eads into the front court with it for the Tigers. To Jeff St. Clair, back to Eads. They go to Miller on a high post. They double team him. The ball is loose. We got a whistle. What they got called? What was the call? Walking, traveling on the Demons. Everybody up in front of me. I couldn't see.
Play continues a little bit because I don't think even the players can hear the whistle.
As the Tigers on offense now. Eads with the ball. Looking underneath, gives it to St. Clair, top of the key to Stephon. They go to Miller on the low post. Works on Fields, fires, good, and we got an offensive foul, no backup. That's number 2 on Jim. Team foul number 4 on the Tigers. And boy, the Tiger crowd is historic on that one. As we get Michael Boyd into the ball game, and Mark Lynn will come out for the Demons. 48-41, the Tigers trail the Demons with the ball. 6:10 to play in the ball game. Kenny White with the ball for Northfork in the backcourt. Dribbling with it. He gives it across to Crenshaw. Crenshaw into the front court with it. Still dribbling down the left side. Fakes the shot, gets it underneath the field, goes underneath, puts it up no good. We got a whistle and a foul on Stephon. On Murray.
I believe that's 3 on Stephon.
And on Stephon, that is number 3. Team foul number 5 on the Tigers. And that will put Jesse Fields on the free throw line for the Demons. 48-41. The Tigers are trailing with 5:57 left to play. As Fields fires the first one, it's in and out, no good. There's a 1-and-1 rather than a shooting foul, so Stephon rebounds it. Hands it to Jeff St. Clair. The Tigers will come to the offense. To Mike Eads. As Eads on the wing, left side to the Witt, deep in the corner. Back to Eads on the wing. Looking underneath. They come to Stephon on the wing, near side. Looking underneath. Can't get Miller open. Boy, it's Crenshaw really shoving him in. They got a foul on somebody.
It is on Crenshaw.
It's on Crenshaw. And it was Fields and Crenshaw. Boy, they were really putting the muscle underneath. On Crenshaw, that's number 1. And that's 2 on the Demons. It'll be out for the Tigers. As the Witt inbounds it to Eads. Eads looking underneath for Miller. Can't get him. Gives it back outside to St. Clair. To Stephon. Back to Eads on the near side. To St. Clair, top of the key. As Miller working underneath, trying to get open. And boy, they are really sticking on him. As Miller on the far side. Is St. Clair with the ball. They can't get Miller. As the Witt now firing from way outside. It's off the iron. No good. The Witt takes the rebound drive. He is fouled. That's number 4 on, who's the foul on? 41 Crenshaw. Is that Fields?
Well, they're calling on 41.
Yes, the Fields there. Yeah, that's wrong. The first one got the Fields, I believe.
4th foul.
It is on Fields. That'll be his 4th. And put James DeWitt on the line. And now Northfork wants a timeout. So with 5:20 left to play in the ball game, Northfork 48, Princeton 41. We'll be back right after this. 5:20 left to play in the ball game. The Tigers trailing by 7, 48-41, and the officials letting the Demons play a lot of hands-on basketball, and that's giving the Tigers a little trouble inside. And the Tigers think Buds was offensive foul. So we'll see what happens as they come down to the final stretch. Ralph Cole talking with the official now, right now.
You know, there's only been 13 fouls called. I would say 7 or 8 of those are offensive fouls.
More than likely. As we'll have James DeWitt on the free throw line for the Tigers. And he'll shoot 2 shots. James DeWitt will fire with the right hand. The first one's up and good. 48-42. Tigers trail by 6 now. As DeWitt ready once more. He fires. It's off the iron, no good. Rebound pulled down by Crenshaw. The Demons gets it out to Kenny White. White gets it to Michael Boyd, and Boyd takes it to the front court. Still on the dribble with it. They go to Crenshaw, high post. Takes the shot, gives it back outside to Kenny White. As White, the field on the wing, left side. Holds it high overhead. Goes the Boyd underneath. Goes under. Fires and Miller blocks the shot. Takes the rebound. Gives it to St. Clair. They get it to Eads. Eads moves it to the front court. Comes down into the lane. Trying to get the shot. We got a traveling call, and Eads was tripped. Looks to me like he's flat out tripped. What do you think, Bob?
I believe he penetrated a little too far before he passed that ball off, to be honest about it.
You don't think he was tripped? How come he went to the floor?
Well, I think he got into heavy traffic.
And you don't think he's tripped? Demons coming back on the offense now. Michael Boyd brings it to the front court. Holds it up. They get it to Crenshaw. High post. Looking at the bucket. Now looking back outside. Gives it to Boyd. As Boyd directing traffic. Takes it left to right. Across the center circle. Holds it up out front as the Tigers, the East playing a defense, trying to double team him. Gets it to Kenny White. White gives it to Fields as the Demons spread it out. Eating the clock. As they go cross court with the two people. People gives it back to Boyd. As Boyd dribbling out front, gives it to Kenny White. White gives it to Crenshaw. High post, starts it to the lane. Goes down the lane, puts the shot up, no good. Phillips had a block on it. The ball hits around, knocked out of bounds. I believe he's knocked that out of bounds. And it'll be Demon basketball in the front court. And the Tigers want a timeout. So with 4:07 left to play in the ball game. Northfork 48, the Tigers 42. We'll be back right after this. 4:07 left to play in the ball game. 48-42. The Demons leading the Tigers here at the Princeton Gymnasium in front of a capacity packed house crowd. And boy, they're in here to the rafters. As Bob Graham's writing notes to himself. Saying individuals for what?
I was just wondering about your count on this attendance tonight.
How many do you think there?
Oh, I question that half you were talking about.
Oh, I know a lot of guys are a half. It's back into the horse.
Let's don't start that now.
Now, you got a special friend you want to talk about in the coaching profession, huh? Bob gets into trouble, doesn't he, Charlie? All right, the Demons ready to go. The Tigers ready to go. The Demons will have it out of bounds with Kenny White. Inbounds it to Jesse Fields. The Fields in the corner with it. Gives it back to Kenny White. Tigers playing man-to-man. They go to Crenshaw. High post. Backs his way in. Turns. Fires. No good. Rebound slips up and in by Kenny White. He is fouled. And that foul fall on Phillips, I believe. It is on David Phillips. And that is foul number 1 on David's team. Foul number 6 on the Tigers, isn't it? And so we'll have Kenny White to shoot 1. The bucket was good. 50-42 is an 8-point advantage taken now by Northfork. And Kenny White on the free throw line for 1. That's White ready. He fires. It's good. 51-42. As James DeWitt inbounds it to Jeff St. Clair. They get it to Eads. Eads in the back court with it. Gives it to St. Clair. Moves it to the front court. To James DeWitt on the wing, left side. Back to St. Clair, top of the key. To Eads on the right side. Looking up. Gives it back outside to St. Clair. They go to Miller out on the wing, left side. As Northfork already stops up inside with his own defense. Now DeWitt firing over. No good. Rebound to Miller in heavy traffic. Goes down the lane. Puts it up and in. We got an offensive foul again. Can you believe that one, Bob?
Well, I can't. Of course, you know where I'm from. I absolutely do not believe that was an offensive foul.
51-42. The Tigers trailing. And on Jim Miller, that was foul number 3. As the inbound pass the backcourt for the Demons, they get it to Jesse Fields. As Fields dribbling to the front court with it as Phillips comes out to play the defense. And he gets it over to Michael Boyd. Boyd goes across the top of the key, holds it up, and gets it to Kenny White. White starts to penetrate, goes down the right side, flips it back outside to George Peoples. He gets it to Michael Boyd. And Boyd, they double team him, and now we got a 5-second call, and they'll jump in the center circle. 3:14 to play in the ball game, 51-42. Tigers are trailing.
I believe we're going to see Northfork spend an awful lot of time holding the ball now. They have the game well in hand if they can hold the ball and keep Princeton from scoring right there.
As we'll have St. Clair to jump against Michael Boyd. as the tip controlled by the Tigers as Miller comes up with it. Gets it to St. Clair, and Jeff will move it to the front court. They go to Eads on the wing. As Mike goes underneath, gives it back to St. Clair. They go to Miller. Miller on the outside right side. As he gives it back to Eads, and Eads to St. Clair, and they go to around to the Witt. As the Witt looking underneath, drives the baseline, fires, it's good, and they say it's no good. And they call a foul on the drive, they say. And the foul will be called on number 13, that's Kenny White. And it'll be Tiger ball out of bounds. That's number 2 on White. Team foul number 4 on the Demons in the second half. As the Witt will inbound it. He kicks it way outside to Jeff St. Clair. St. Clair, top of the key to Eads on the left side wing. Gives it back to St. Clair, top of the key. They go to the Witt. They go to Miller, low post. He jumps, fires, good. He is fouled by Jesse Fields. That'll be all for Fields. Was good.
Also, team foul number 5 on the defense.
And that'll put Miller on the line to shoot 1.
Jesse Fields on the line with a 6 field goal. 0 for 1 at the foul line, a total of 12 points.
He only got 12 points. Seemed like he had a bunch more than that, didn't it? Well, that's Jim Miller on the free throw line for 1 shot. 51 to 44. The Tigers trailing by 7.
8 of those points came in that third quarter.
Downtown, yeah, you're right. So Jimmy on the line now, and now the Demons want a timeout. So with 2:48 to play in the ball game, the Northfork Demons call timeout. We'll take time in for this message. 51 to 44, Tigers trail. Miller will be on the line for 1 shot. You don't think? All right, what's this, Charlie, now?
Well, it says we're trying to work it. Princeton trying to work it inside. Down by 7 points. They don't have time really to work it inside. I was like, somebody's going to take an outside jumper. What do you think?
Well, the way Northfork's defense is playing, I believe he's right. Do you disagree with him?
Somebody's going to have to start hitting from outside consistently. As the Tigers back on the floor, we got David Phillips, James DeWitt, Mike Eads, Jeff St. Clair, and Jim Miller. The Demons come back out with Mark Glenn, Quentin Crenshaw, George People, Michael Boyd, and who I'm off? Kenny White. Let him stand over upside Miller. Yes, Kenny White. 2:48 to play in the ball game. The Tigers are trailing here. I can't see my meter over there, Bob. That's sitting all the way out there. As the official coming over to get a towel, they got a wet spot on the floor somewhere that they're going to mop up.
Some people have been throwing some ice and stuff on the court there.
Hey, I've got stuff all over me.
Yeah. Very crowded here.
Yeah, the thing about me, some of it feels like it's crawling.
Oh,
If you feel they going down your back too, huh? Well, 51 to 44. The Tigers are trailing. 2:48 to play as Miller on the line to shoot 1 shot. He fires. It's on the iron and good. 51 to 45. The Tigers will press now. It's Crenshaw with the ball out of bounds. He gets it in to people to Michael Boyd. Runs over top of the Witt. No call. As Boyd goes to the front court with it. And they double team him. He gets it to Crenshaw in the corner. Crenshaw on the dribble. Taken away by Miller now. Miller gets it to St. Clair. And St. Clair will move it to the front court for the Tigers. Brings it to the top of the key. Still dribbling with it. To the Witt in the corner. To Witt. Gets a screen from Miller. Comes around. Fires off the iron. No good. It goes to the corner and out of bounds. It'll be out to the Demons, I believe.
That's right. It will be the Demons' ball. Would you say the intensity is picking up as reflected by the number of persons standing?
Was that an offensive foul out there that we didn't get?
Yes, it
As
was.
the Demons inbound it to Kenny White. White on the move with it into the front court. To Crenshaw. Shy fires. We got a whistle and a foul on Miller. And Miller can't believe it. As Crenshaw hits the bucket for the Demons.
Well, Glenn, what we've seen here now is just, to me, blatant inconsistency because they called Princeton on those charges all night, and that was a very blatant charging foul to me. Jimmy had the position established. He had his hands straight up in the air. He did not jump up in the air. He did not move. Crenshaw ran over him. He ran up, bumped him, took the shot, and the foul was called on Kenny Miller.
As we'll have Quentin Crenshaw on the free throw line for the Demons now. He'll shoot one. He fires. It's no good. Rebound to Phillips from the lane. And Phillips gets it out to St. Clair. 53 to 45. The Tigers trail. It's just to Eads on the left side. Firing from way outside. Off the iron. No good. Rebound. Pulled down by White of Northfork. We got 2 minutes and 6 seconds to play. As Michael Boyd with the ball in the backcourt. Gets it to Kenny White. Into the front court with it to Mark Lynn. Throws it back outside to Kenny White. They go across court with it to People. Goes under. Fires. On the iron. No good. Rebound to Eads. Eads clears it out. On the dribble in the backcourt. Waits for Travis to clear and gives it to St. Clair. St. Clair, top of the key. To the left side to Eads on the wing. And boy, Miller's really getting something around in here right now. To St. Clair. Firing from outside. No good. Rebound. Comes off the People of Northfork. Gets it out to Michael Boyd. We got a whistle and a traveling call. It'll be Tiger ball at about midcourt. 53-45, a minute and a half to play. And St. Clair with the ball for the Tigers to the front court to Eads on the wing left side. Looking underneath. Back to St. Clair, top of the key. They go to Miller in the lane. They double team him. Ball knocked loose, picked up by Phillips. Back to Miller, firing from the baseline. On the iron, no good. Rebound, fourth board. Miller still in the corner to the far side. Back to St. Clair to Phillips, firing out of the lane. No good. Miller underneath, puts it up. It goes in, but they know that's no good. I don't believe they fouled him on the rebound, and they call Miller for the foul. What'd they call? No foul is called on George Peoples, and they'll put Miller on the free throw line. So a minute, 13 to play. Hit. And 53 to 45, the Tigers are trailing with a minute 13 to play. And it's getting kind of rowdy out there. Now we'll have Miller on the line. Now that foul was on People. And that's the 15th foul. That's number 2 on People. That's number 3 on foul on the Demons. And Northfork wants a timeout. So with a minute 13 left to play in the ball game, the timeout on the floor. Let's take time in for this message. Miller shooting 1 for 10 in the fourth quarter.
Right.
That's about 10%. Even I can figure that.
Northfork's only 2
That'll
for
get you
10.
beat. A minute 13 to play in the ball game. It is 53 to 45. The Tigers are trailing by 8. And the ball game's just about to get out of hand. And we're afraid we'll get somebody injured out there. They're really going at it. There's a lot of people ringing the court. Not much room to operate. So what do you think, Bob?
I think at this point it'll take a miracle.
And now Jimmy Miller will be on the free throw line. What's Miller got tonight, Bob?
Miller on tonight has 6 field goals. He's 1 of 2 of 4 from the foul line for 14 points.
All right, Miller on the free throw line to fire the 1-and-1. As he's ready, he fires. It's good. He'll have a second one. 53 to 46. Tigers trailing. Minute 13 to play now. As the Demons have kind of controlled the tempo of the game on the Tigers.
They sure have. And Princeton shooting very
And
poor.
Jim on the line for one more. He's ready. He fires. It's good. 53 to 47 in the Tigers press. And the Demons break the press as Michael Boyd gets to the front court with it. Holds the ball up, they double team him. Now the ball's loose, picked up by St. Clair. Jeff into the front court to Eads. Drives, lays it up, no good. He is fouled. And boy, they really decked him. As Michael Boyd really decked him. He went under him like a steamboat. And that's number 1 on Boyd. Team foul number 6 on the Tigers. That'll put Eads on the free throw line. As Eads took a pretty heavy fall, he's up and moving around. He says he's all right. And Mike Eads will be on the line. He'll shoot. 2 shots. So with a minute and 2 seconds to play, 53 to 47. Tigers are trailing by 6. Eads on the line. He fires the first one. It is no good. Came off the plank. A little too hard. He'll have a second attempt. As Mike's ready, he fires. That's good. 53 to 48, a 5-point advantage for the Demons as the Tigers press. And the Witt steals inbound pass. Fires off the baseline, no good. Ball comes to the floor, picked up by the Demons, and White picks it up. Gives it to the front court to Peoples. As Peoples in the front court with it, holding the ball now. Into the corner to Mark Flynn. And he is fouled by Eads. That's number 2 on Eads. And it'll be 1-1 on the line for Mark Glenn. As the crowd settles down a little bit, I guess we can sit down. Now the Tigers want a timeout. So with 48 seconds left to play, it is Northfork 53, Princeton 48. We'll be back right after this. The Tigers shooting 1 out of 11 in the fourth quarter. That's tough. Of course, the width not being able to hit from the outside tonight. And Northfork's played a lot of defense now. They've been all over the floor and really scrapping for the ball. We will have Mark Glenn on the free throw line for the Demons, and he'll be shooting a 1-on-1. As he's ready, he fires. It's no good. Rebound pulled down by Phillips. Lost to Quentin Crenshaw. As Harmon, really it's Ricky Harmon with the ball, and Harmon tied up for the jump. And I guess I'll have to stand up again. With 43 seconds left to play. And we'll have Ricky Harmon to jump against somebody. And now they're trying to show the officials only 5 seconds run off the clock. And the official comes over. He's not going to get into that discussion. And we'll have Harmon to jump against James DeWitt. As Harmon and DeWitt in the free throw circle. And the tip controlled by the Tigers of St. Clair. Brings it to the front court with 39 seconds to play. 5-point lead for the Demons. Aziz with the ball. Drives the lane. Goes down the lane. Puts the shot up and in. Good. He is fouled. 53 to 50. The Tigers within 3 now. With 33 seconds, and East will have a free throw.
I believe that's number 3 on people. It's either 3 or 4. And I believe it's 3. It is 3.
As the foul called on George Peoples, that's his third. And Mike Eads will be on the free throw line for the Tigers. He'll have 1 shot.
And there's a lot of time left in this ball game.
33 seconds to play as Mike Eads on the line to fire. He puts it up. It's in and out, no good. Rebound pulled down by the Demons. As Crenshaw with the ball. Gets it to Kenny White. In the front court with it to Mark Glenn. To Harmon, firing, good. Ricky Harmon gives a 5-point lead to the Demons with 19 seconds of lead now. Firing from 17 feet, good. 55 to 52. The Tigers pressing and East going after the ball. Tips it away and out of bounds, and East has been hurt over there. The crowd, he got tangled up in the crowd. East on the feet. He comes back on the play. He says he's ready. As the Tigers pressing. As Crenshaw trying to inbound it. Gets it into Kenny White. They get it to Peoples. Peoples to the front court, and Phillips is sliding after him. And now we got a whistle and a foul on Eves with 6 seconds to play.
Number 4 on Mike Eads.
That's number 4 on Mike Eads. On DeWitt.
Call that on DeWitt?
Right.
Number 4 on DeWitt. Both Eads and DeWitt were there. I thought they had called the